Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where and when you're watching us from. My name is Mutadhi Washira Wanyaga, Mojiro wa Baria Karigeze, na gwehoka kuma ngogo ciothe ciumaga hugo muri thayo. My name is Mutadhi Washira, and today is a really beautiful day here in Nairobi, but it depends on where you are. Some people wameandamana so much today. It varies. It is the 19th day of July. The year is still 2023. And oh my, I'm so glad to be here with these two gentlemen to discuss about Kenya Maandamano times. It has just been a roller coaster of Maandamano since I don't know when. And right now it's even getting worse. Just the other time, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, the leader of opposition, declared a 3-day of Maandamano, which has started today. Today, it has not been good in the country. Let us see how it goes tomorrow and on Friday. Yeah, before we get much further into our discussion, allow me, guys, to ask the gentlemen here today to introduce themselves, tell us what they do, and anything they might want to share with us tonight. So let me start with Kipto. Kipto, how are you?
I'm fine, Washira. Thank you so much. And I think I'm not so new in this forum. And but for those who do not know me, I'm Kipto. And in the spirit of Pan-Africanism, I said I won't be calling myself Kennedy, but it exists in my document. So it is just there, but I'm Kipto. Thank you. Kipto Keter, for that matter.
Thank you, Kipto. Thank you for honoring our invitation once again and being here. You're also requested by some people, so let me say, due to public demand, you're here. But tena temba wanasemanga akisifiwa sana nini ulitia maji. I don't know. So I also have Wakili Musoma on the show tonight. Wakili, please introduce yourself.
Good evening to you all. My name is Wakili Musoma Hilary. I'm honored to grace this event today, and I look forward to a fruitful engagement.
Thank you Bwana Wakili. Wakili, I know it's your first time here. Tunakukaribisha sana. Welcome to this show. This is the state of the continent. So welcome. We want to understand what is happening in the continent of Africa. But today, more specifically, we're looking at our very own country, that is Kenya, and specifically on the issues of Maandamano. For those people who do not understand what Maandamano means, Maandamano is just a Swahili word for protests, picketing, and how you can define it. And Wakili, let me start with you. Is it true? People think that it is not in the constitution for people to andamana. And I know you'll be speaking with authority here because Kipto does not want to hear about Maandamano. Tell him, please, it is our right, or it is the people's right to andamana. Please, tell us what Maandamano is and how the law allows us or allow Kenyans to do it.
Thank you, Washira, for the opportunity. I don't know whether I should restrain myself to English ama naweza changanya kidogo.
Yeah, you can try and just mix hapa na pale.
Okay, it's good to recognize the fact that Kipto hataki kusikia maneno ya maandamano. And I think we can base it on history.
Yeah.
The person Keter listens to most has never supported the constitution. Ever since the promulgation of the constitution, 67% of the Kenyans voted in favor of the constitution. Keter, his man, and the person he listens to never supported the constitution. I don't expect Keter to believe in anything in that constitution. Let me go back to your question. On whether Maandamano is a right that is enshrined within our law. It is enshrined within our law, and today I'll be privileged to speak with so much authority. And I'm privileged to school Keter today in front of the public that Keter, Article 37 of our own constitution, gives us the freedom of assembly, demonstration, picketing, and petition. And if I can just quote the exact words of the Constitution, Article 37 says that every person, Keter, including you and I, has the right to peaceably and unarmed to assemble, to demonstrate, to picket, and to present petitions to public authorities. That is the Constitution of Kenya 2010. It is not Musoma, Hillary, Wakili. It is an authority that binds all of us. The same constitution says that, and Article 2, that Article 2 provides for supremacy of the constitution, that this constitution binds all state organs, all state officers, all persons are bound under the same constitution. So there's nobody who can come to override that Article 37 that gives us the freedom to picket, to demonstrate, and to present petitions to public authorities. So yes, Article 37 provides for freedom of picketing and demonstrating, and nothing can overshadow that right.
Thank you, Akili. Actually, now do you now say that it is our right also to have this discussion? It is justified that we should have this discussion of Maandamano.
It is very justified. It is part of Maandamano.
Yeah. Okay. Kipto, I'm going to give you a right of reply. Just hold on there.
May I begin by asking something? Yeah?
Okay.
When I fail to understand what Musoma is talking about when he says that the man Kipto supports the most, because as far as I'm concerned, Bwana Wachira, the only person I have always supported the most, and the only person I have always, bought his ideas, without question, is long dead. But Wakili seems to be talking about somebody who still lives. So I want Wakili to tell me who this person is, because he did not mention the person. So Wakili, would you please, before I continue, tell me who that person is? How did you know that?
Kipto, you're getting it a little bit hot. Before we get there, allow me to read the comment that is coming in. There's some comments have already started coming in. I can see KRT Raphael saying, it's good to see Wachira, Keter, and Musoma together today. Greetings. Thank you very much, Raphael, for tuning it in. And also to remind guys, you can still send in your comments, send in your questions, send in your sentiments. We want to hear from your side. Now, Musoma, who is this guy that you are talking about?
Wachira, in December, I'll be graduating as a lawyer. I want to school Kipto today a little bit. In law, we say,
I don't know. I think we have lost Musoma there in terms of network. I don't know if Musoma can still hear us. Okay. We'll check on that. And see if he'll be able to be back soon. Kipto. I don't know. We'll be checking on Musoma. I don't know. His network is not okay, but before he comes back and gives his reply to what you are saying, you let us have just an honest conversation. I know you are a person who vehemently is against Maandamano, but let us be honest. There has been a history of Maandamano in this country for a while, and I don't know if you can just be honest to this question and just give us a brief history of what you have seen Maandamano is or has been in the country, so that now we can now discuss exactly now what is happening in the year 2023.
Wachira, for the few years I've been on this planet, it would be so unfair of me to say that Maandamano is entirely a bad thing. I agree with the concepts that have been presented by Wakili, of course, from the Constitution. But then, Musoma failed to do one thing, and I really wished that he was here. But thank you.
He's back.
Musoma, when Musoma was reading the Constitution, he left out some part, and that was so intentional. That was so intentional, because there is a part that says, I would not quote it directly, but the Constitution says that every person has a right to picket, to protest, and to present their petitions. But then Musoma leaves out a part that says these protesters should be unarmed. Musoma
I think he mentioned
does
that.
not stop there.
So he did
does
mention
not stop.
that.
In his era of omissions, he does not stop there. He goes ahead and omits another part, which I would love to read from my constitution, and that is under the Public Order Act. It says that an assembly may be stopped or prevented when there is clear, present, or imminent danger of breach of the peace or public order. Musoma left out that part intentionally, as I said. Washira, the Constitution allows all of us, to be, it gives us the right to picket, to protest, and so forth. But then sometimes what we are protesting for, of course, for a right or for something else, is unjustifiable. But even, in the event that it is justifiable, we do not do it, as provided by the same Constitution. Because Washira, we've seen these demonstrators ever since they started demonstrating. Even when we were still young in 2007. 2007, I did not have so many years. But I saw people protesting. I saw the same people in 2013. I saw the same people in 2017. And I have seen them even today. They have always been armed, most of them carrying pangas, carrying stones, and they are literally fighting with the police officers. So it's not like I'm saying, and together with those who do not support this thing, that it is entirely wrong for maandamano to be to be done. But what I'm saying and what we are saying as a people is, let them do it in the right manner and provided by the same Constitution that gave them the permission and the right to picket.
Okay, we hear you, Kipto. I can see Mumo Yongi saying, Mr. Kipto, if you do not want demonstrations happening, then who are you supporting? Greetings, thank you for tuning in. And then I can see Macharia Mwangi saying, Wakili Musoma, celebrating Wakili Musoma right there. And then we see he's also saying Council Kajim is here. Welcome, Kajim, to the show. Wakili, before you left, you were saying something. And then while you are away, I asked Kipto a question which I think he has also deliberately decided not to answer. Or I don't know how it has happened. I've asked him, or I'll give you the same task. As you are replying to what you were saying initially, please walk us through down memory lane. Talk to us how maandamanos have been, the protesting that has been in the country since, I think, independence and all that. Oh, we have lost him again. I think he'll be back. So Kipto, there's somebody who has asked you a question. Please, I want you to react to it before Musoma comes back. So he's saying, if you do not want demonstrations happening, then who are you supporting?
Okay, greetings, Mumo Yongi. Who am I supporting if I'm not supporting demonstrations? I do not get the question clearly, but I'll try to answer.
What we'll do, let us please request Mumo Yongi then to make the question a little bit clear for you, Kipto, to be able to answer. But I can see Wakili Musoma is back. Let us give him this time to react to what I had asked him. Wakili, I don't know if you had exactly what I had asked you earlier.
I did hear what you asked me, but I had every concern that Keter addressed.
Yeah. I was asking, first of all, you have some tasks here. There was something you were saying initially before you left the show, the broadcast a little bit earlier. And also, I was just wanting to know the history. Walk us down through memory lane of the history of maandamano in this country. Kipto, I think he has decided not to tell us the history of maandamano.
Okay, I will respond subsequently to the points that have been raised.
Yes.
Before I left the meeting, I'm on demand, and I don't know why my friend Kipto does not want me to respond to the issues. I don't know what is happening on my side. He's trying to interfere with my network. He keeps on calling me so that I keep on disappearing from this class.
He has these guys on the ground.
I am back. I'm going to respond to him.
You can already me see the tricks of these people who are from MAANDAMANO. You can see, because I have not made any call here.
Hold on there. Hold on,
Give me my
Kipto.
time so that I respond. Stop heckling. There's no need
Please
of
go
heckling.
ahead, Muso.
Let me go back to the point that was raised and what I was responding to before I left the meeting. You know, Kipto asked, who is this human being that is still alive that I was referring to when I see that the person Keter supports the most. I was telling Kipto, and I can assure the viewers and Washira, not one time, not two times, so many times, Kipto has always told me that he wants to join me on this side of my profession because he loves every bit of it. And anytime he tells me that I teach him something new and I have a platform to teach him what I've already taught him. I don't know why he's proving to be unteachable. Keter, I once taught you something called res ipsa loquitur. That means that facts speak for themselves. When you have facts speaking for themselves, you do not require any explanation or evidence to prove. So answering that question would be a waste of time and a misplace of priority. I'm not willing to answer that question a question that facts are so glaring and so much against Kipto. The second one, Kipto was so quick to read as the Public Order Act. And as he reads that Public Order Act, you know, he says that I am omitting some things selectively. And himself, he is speaking some things selectively. Now, let me refer back to what he read. He read to us on how a demonstration or a picketing can be stopped, and how if it's a threat to the public, the government can come in and stop it. What Kipto is to tell us here is that the Constitution of Kenya is the supreme law. That Kipto gets to quote Article 2 of the Constitution. And Article 2 provides that the Constitution is the supreme law of Kenya, and all other laws that stem therein under are subjective to the Constitution. So the Constitution overrides every other law. Keter, even that Public Order Act that you're so quick to quote to me, and that you had somebody in your village mentioning, or somebody on screen mentioning, you must know that it is subject to the Constitution and it falls within Article 2 of the Constitution. Whereas that infringes Article 2 of the Constitution and infringes any article of the Constitution should be declared unconstitutional. Kipto, the freedom of demonstrating and picketing. Just a minute, don't heckle. When you are talking, just be beaten to pulp and relax.
Be brief, Musoma.
Yes. The freedom of picketing is a right that is enshrined in the Constitution and it overrides every other law. Yes, I recognize the fact that not all laws are what we call absolute. Not every freedom is absolute. Not every right is absolute. Rights can be limited, but should be limited within the confines of the Constitution. Before you limit a right, you must have reasons to justify the limitation. Keter has read to us that if at all there is a threat to public order, that is when you come to limit the right and freedom to picket. I am yet to see evidence of a threat to public order when Kenyans go for MAANDAMANO. If the government wants to turn this thing around and accuse us of having disorder, yet they are the cause of disorder. But I don't want to go there first. Now, what about something called an armed petition?
Washira, I think I need to answer Mutoma before he proceeds.
No, you had
hold on, Kipto. Allow Musoma to finish his point. I think he's wrapping up his point, please.
Yes. Allow me to go on. Allow me to go on. You'll come back to respond. Now, Kipto talked about an armed. When I was reading the Article 37 of the Constitution, I read that part clearly. Unless Kipto's ears are selective in what they pick and what they do not pick, so that he uses what he picks against me. Kipto, I read that you are allowed to demonstrate provided you are unarmed. And I must remind Kipto that there is something called being on the offensive and something called being on the defensive. When you see the demonstrators throw stones back at the police, You must ask yourself what ignited their actions. Washita, we must ask ourselves, have there been maandamano before in this world? Have we had demonstrations in this country before? Have we had demonstrations even outside Kenya before? These demonstrations, have they been peaceful or not? And what has sunk these demonstrations into becoming violent? The demonstrations become violent when the demonstrators, who are peaceful, have been ignited by another counterforce that seeks to stop them from practicing their constitutional right. So when they throw back stones, they are being on their defensive, but they're not being on their offensive. But I'll give Kipto the latitude to respond to me and quote articles and quote acts that he's not so sure about.
Okay. Kipto, before I give you a right of reply, allow me to read some messages coming in here. We have Roy Kibata saying Wakili Musoma, makofi yako pale. We have Peter Chomba saying Kipto, we need revolution, political revolution. We have Benedict Joy saying the show is enriching. Thank you, Benedict. And then we have Kevin Vidzo saying nice, following. Good work, guys. Thank you, Vidzo. And then we have Amanda Mora. Happy to be here. Amanda Mora is also a learned friend, so I hope she'll be telling us her views here. So, Kipto, let me go back to you. I know you have something to respond to Wakili Musoma, but even as you do that, let me just ask, do you think, what are the reasons behind your sentiments to say that this maandamano is not right, it should not go ahead? Why are you against it?
Washira, I must begin by letting Musoma know that he's so lucky because I was well taught by my English teacher, when it comes to turn taking. Otherwise, it would have been so unfair to the people and to the public, for me to stay silent while Wakili, massacres facts and gives us absolute lies. Now, let me proceed. Bashira, Musoma talks so much about the law, but as an individual, I think and if you've known me for a while, I'm one man who is so practical and pragmatic in his doings. The law well provides the right to picket, to demonstrate, and the others. But then what I read, the Public Order Act, clearly, states when or under what circumstances that these demonstrations can be stopped. And I picked two words. One is when there is clear danger, and two, when there is imminent danger. Now, when the perpetrators of demonstrations in one locality are the same from time immemorial, to date, we can already know what is going to happen based on their previous actions. 3/4 of demonstrations that have occurred in this country since independence have been perpetrated by one Raila Amolo Odinga. And what has been happening, Washira? Lives have been lost, livelihoods have been lost through destruction of property. Our own infrastructure has been destroyed. People have died. So, and this is a behavior that we've witnessed every other time when Raila decides to take his people to the streets. So, is it wrong, really, when the police decide to stop these people from demonstrating based on the previous history of this very perpetrator of this or the leader of these demonstrations? Your guess is as good as mine. Number two. What is it? What is it that these people are demonstrating for? I hear, they need the cost of living to be lowered. But again, Wakili, I expected Wakili as a learned friend to be arguing, for demonstrations and giving us solutions that the government needs to implement, for us to get something that these people, are demanding for. Washira, the cost of living did not go high just this year. In fact, if there is one time that the cost of living really rose and took us to that trajectory, was last year, before elections. Who are calling the shots in government? The former President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Are you really going to go there with the history of Mandem brothers?
No,
Just finish.
We must not allow Keter to digress.
Let me finish.
Let us limit ourselves to the line in which we are discussing.
Keter is digressing.
We begin to digress, and then we are very good at that. We will digress and get into the muddy waters. And
let us allow Kipto. Finish your point.
Let me finish. I know Akili now wants to come back with his so much laws and everything and say that the presidency at that time comprised of Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, who is the current president. But as a practical man and as a man who speaks from his sense and not from written laws, we all know it's obvious. We all know and we all saw what happened and who were calling the shots in government. William Ruto was isolated, absolutely. So this same person, this same leader of opposition who is now asking us to go and protest is among the architects. Is among the architects of this bad economy that they are now telling us they want to fix.
Okay.
As I finish. Yeah. These people are so dishonest because in the previous months, the demonstrations were pegged on, the cry from the opposition that the elections were unfair, and so they wanted servers to be opened, and so much untrue things that they gave us. But when they realized that it was not resonating with the people, with the public, they are now coming back, with another narrative, a completely different narrative that they want the cost of living to be lowered. They want the finance bill 2023 to be done away with. How dishonest could we get?
Okay. Kipto, thank you for that. I can see more comments coming in. I can see somebody by the name General Arnold saying, absolutely right there, Comrade Keter, 100. I can also see Luko Tieno saying, Musoma, my guy, slap people with facts after facts after facts. Take someone some low, Boana. And then we have Amanda Mora saying, the person to blame is the systems in place which necessitate a man to place his own life second. Okay, thank you guys for your comments. Continue sending it in. We're going to read them and respond to them. So, Wakili Bona, we have heard what Kipto said, and is telling us the reasons why he does not think the Maandamano is the right thing to do right now. But I think you, on the other hand, you have a different view. Why do you think we need Maandamano in Kenya right now?
Thank you so much, Washira. I cannot just respond to your question before addressing the crippled points Keter raised.
Okay.
Whether you've ever seen a thief who is just from stealing, ukiita watu wote pamoja unauliza kuna kitu yangu ilikuwa hapa, nani ameiba? The first person who says see mimi is most likely to be the thief. Keter will keep on defending himself on how Musoma is coming up with the laws and written things and that he's a factual man. Keter, if you are so factual, you must not always remind us of how factual you are. Let your facts speak for you. Don't keep blaming me for understanding the law and you understanding the facts more than the other. The second thing, Keter talked about.
You remind him.
Keter, don't heckle. Just a minute. This is a problem with the people who don't understand these things. They keep heckling back when facts are proved out to them. Keter, we were talking about the history of Maandamano. And Keter was so fast to tell us that, ever since time immemorial, the Maandamano have been caused by Raila Amolo Odinga. I'm not going to discuss personality itself. He's reducing this debate into a debate of personalities which I did not subscribe to. And if I knew that this debate was part of going to discuss about personalities, I was not going to come. But because I'm here to fulfill the purpose of this debate, you must protect me from the heck.
Kipto, come on. Kipto, we are a learned guys. Yeah, please allow us to go ahead.
Allow me to progress. The next time, I hope we will have a very set, clear agenda, because you see, Keter is coming to digress on issues instead of going straight into the issues. Now, the framers of the Constitution did not intend that we have a prophetic Constitution, that we must always foresee based on what has happened before. The law deals with circumstances at hand. It does not begin to foresee circumstances that would happen in the future or that has happened in the past, and we use them to actualize or stop something that was going to actually happen in the future. So Kipto comes to tell us that, you know what, because these people have been always armed with stones and what in the previous Maandamano, that we should presume automatically that in the next Maandamano they will be armed. Kipto, that is so wrong. In fact, that is you are reducing yourself into disability of thinking. Now, let me talk about limitation of freedom of demonstrating and picketing. When you read our Article 24 of the Constitution, Article 24 of the Constitution talks about limitation of fundamental freedoms. And I want to quote it quite verbatim, and I want Kipto to listen quite carefully before he really jumps out to defend himself on how he doesn't understand the law. The law says that everybody must understand the law, Keter, and you are not an exception. The right to fundamental freedom in the Bill of Rights shall not be limited except by law, and only to the extent that the limitation is reasonable and justifiable in an open and democratic society based on human dignity, equality, and freedom, taking into account all the relevant factors, including the nature and right of fundamental freedom, the importance of the purpose of the limitation, the nature and extent of that limitation, the need to ensure that the enjoyment of right, again that point, the need to ensure that the enjoyment of right and fundamental freedom by any individual does not prejudice the right and fundamental freedom of others, and the right and relationship between the limitation and its purpose, and whether there are less restrictive means to achieve the purpose. And then it goes ahead to say that despite whatever I've read, despite clause 1, a provision in the legislation limiting a right, that act that is calling the Public Order Act, the provision in legislation limiting that right or fundamental freedom, shall not limit the right or fundamental freedom so far as to derogate it from its core or essential content. My guy here knows so well that whatever the police and the government are doing right now is not limiting the fundamental freedom. It is derogating it. It is trying to elevate it. It's trying to diminish it. It's trying to do away with it. That in fact in Kenya you must not demonstrate. You hear the interior CS threatening us, threatening Kenyans, telling them that you go to the streets to tapatana na nyinyi. What kind of sentences are those? You know, the interior CS is a professor of law, for that matter. A professor, distinguished lawyer. Whatever he is using right now, or whatever he is doing right now, he doesn't believe in. And we dislike people like those ones and people like Keter who talk things they do not believe in. The interior CS believes in the rule of law, and he has been heard so many times quoting about the rule of law. But you see, whatever he does right now, he doesn't believe in at all. Whatever is being done right now is trying to elevate the freedom and right of picketing and demonstrating and presenting petitions. I know there's a point that my friend Keter raised, and I've just forgotten it, but ikikuja, I will address it accordingly.
Okay. I'll give you that chance to reply to Kipto. But Kipto, you know, you are here defending the government and the government actions, and what he is here questioning you for doing that. And I'm also wondering, what do you have to say on how the police are reacting to this issue? You know, you can see the way they are beating up people. We have lost some lives last week. I don't know. And even the UN, I think. I mean, there's an agency of the UN, I think, that reacted to it, and NGOs are reacting to it, civil societies are reacting to it. What do you have to say about that? The way the police are handling this issue? Keep talking.
Let me first mention, and remind you all that the primal instinct of the government is to survive. So there is no single government in the world that will just sit, and watch, destructive demonstrations happening. But when these demonstrations, are done and carried out according to the law, trust me, there is nobody who's going to stop these demonstrations. And we've seen it in part of this continent. Just the other month, there was a national shutdown in South Africa.
Okay.
Are you getting me?
Yeah, we can get you, but now, what do you mean? How do you do a demonstration according to the law?
The law. I said it before that the law demands that those who are picketing and demonstrating should be armed and should not engage in property and infrastructure destruction and anything that will threaten the lives of the others and also disturb the public order.
Okay.
So what I was saying is we've seen demonstrations in other parts of this continent, and I was talking about the national shutdown that we witnessed the other month in South Africa by the economic freedom fighters, and you see there was no single life lost, there was no single property that was destroyed, and there was no use of police force. So coming back here, you see what these demonstrators are doing is what I would call economic sabotage. Of course, something that is being driven by their leaders. And so as a government, government will not sit, because I said the primal instinct of any government is survival. So the government will not sit back and watch you destroy infrastructure, watch you, stop businesses from going on. Now, coming to your question on how the police are responding to to the demonstrators, I would personally condemn some of the acts that we see in our policemen when dealing with these protesters. But Washira, these police officers are human beings. These police officers are human beings with survival instinct like any other person. Tell me, if today you are a police officer or any other law enforcement officer, and you happen to have been surrounded by armed persons, and you have a gun, you'll first try and tear gas them. When that fails, you will try and maybe fire live ammunition. But when it gets to the last resort, because Musoma will tell you that the constitution says that the use of force should be the last resort. So when these police officers are in such a situation that I have described, the last resort is to arm the person who is coming for you. Of course, we are not saying that is how they should be dealing with these protesters. But Washira, we've all seen, Wakili will try to bury his head in the sand, but we've even seen it in the evenings, news. Youth with stones and bangas running after the police. What do you expect the police to do in this case? Just run and let these people harm other members of the public?
Okay.
Some 1-2 bullets have to be fired to scare these people away.
Come on. What do you mean that is a 1-2 bullet?
When you mention, I did not say they should be killed. I just said bullets should be fired.
Why? Like, you cannot fire live ammunition to people. Come on.
No, there is Wakili will tell us about that. But the constitution, in as much as it limits the use of firearm, provides a very small room for the use of these firearms. But it then says that the use of these firearms should inflict, it should inflict, pain, or should inflict force that is equal to the force that is being propelled to
But
this side of
they can use things like rubber bullets.
That is what they are using. As I'm
Come
aware
on,
of
and
that.
how are they? How are the people dying? We saw the other day somebody was shot dead. But guys, let me hold you guys there. Let me.
Washira.
No.
You know,
I'm letting you to come in, Wakili. Keep going, Wakili, please.
Accuses me of burying my head in the sand. We now know whose head is deep in the sand, deeper than the other.
Yeah.
You're so quick at telling me how the Constitution allows for some little use of force. I am here to remind him that I'm not even going to say that. The use of force in any manner is prohibited by law.
Mm-hmm.
In the event the police want to respond, and you ask a very good question how the police are responding to the demonstrators. There are 3 levels of stage that we need to adopt.
Allow me before you proceed. Just a second.
Police need to adopt while responding to demonstrators. Keep talk quiet. You don't heckle back. The first level of response will be about legality. Is what the police employing to disperse the demonstrators legal? The second one is proportionality. Is what the police adopting as force proportional to that which demonstrators are hurling back to the police? And third one is necessity. Is it necessary? Was it necessary that the police use that kind of force? Is it necessary that the police kill the demonstrators? Is it necessary that the police actually shoot? When the police return back live bullets to the crowds, is it proportional? A member of demonstrating is miles away, throwing a stone that will not even get to the police, but the police will actually fire back a bullet and kill this person. It is not legal, it is not necessary, it is not proportional. Whatever we've seen with the police is actually not right at all, and that is why you have international human rights bodies coming in and weighing into the matter and saying that this one is going beyond stretch. Then not to say that the demonstrators are right when they keep on chasing the police. We are there at a very bad position. We are getting to a level where now the citizens are getting used to the police. They are getting out of hand. In fact, they're now chasing the police instead of being the other way around. The citizens are now chasing the police. We are sliding into anarchy, and the moment we keep on tolerating this, then we will not be able to control this country in the coming days, because the police will be seen like any other ordinary person. Let the citizens respect the police and their work. Let the police respect the rights of the citizens, and that should be the framework. My friend Kiptoyo cannot balance that. He'll keep on defending the police because they favor what he feels they should favor.
Okay, guys, allow me to take some questions that are coming in. Just allow me to take some questions that are coming in, and you'll be responding to them. Please take note of these questions, Kipto and Wakili, so that you can respond to the questions that are addressed to you by our audience. Okay, so we have Benedict Joyce. Benedict Joyce is saying the panel help us to understand the essence of demonstration. Wakili, please, do you think the citizens really understand its essence? So that is your first question, Wakili Musoma. I can see Elvis Kisia is in the house. Thank you, Elvis. And then we have Dunga saying, I don't know, Wakili. Maybe because they know as well as we do, they are goons who will hide in the midst of demonstrators. And then we have General Arnold saying, exactly, it means he, Kindiki, knows what's best for the country. Better than you. We do not need violence for our problems to be solved. At Musoma. So that was addressed to you, Musoma. Musoma, there are comments that are coming in thick and fast for you tonight. And then we have Daily Edition with Hassan saying, Kipto, should the advanced literate people, youths, who can analyze how the system works, do away with Maandamano and give time to government? Like seriously, at this rate, you still have hope? That is for you, Kipto. Do you still have hope? Just coming from Daily Edition with Hassan. I can see at Baby Toto saying tuned. Okay, we have Dunga. Dunga is also saying, and since one cannot tell demonstrators from goons, one is left with the question of allowing senseless violence or stopping the demonstrations altogether. And then we have Tim Thyrek saying, following closely. Thank you, Tim. And he's saying rubber bullets can kill as well. Okay. And then we have Luke Otieno saying, Kipto, you can't continue accusing peaceful picketers of economic sabotage. Yet you yourself is not even enjoying any economic benefit brought, if any, by William Ruto and his colleagues. Kipto, that is for you. And then you have Amanda Mora saying, but you cannot put a balance between protesters with stones and the police with goons. That is rogue, Kipto. Kipto, that is also for you. And then we have Luko Tieno saying, at Kipto, you also need to understand that demonstrators are not violent. You and your policemen motivated them to turn violent. And then we have Amanda Mora saying the use of force by the police itself is illegal. Now, we have had that concern, we have had the question raised by our audience, so I'm going to go back to you, gentlemen, and I'm going to start with Kipto. So please, Kipto, this is your right of reply. Reply to the things that the audience are now saying to you, and then Wakili Msoma will be coming later in to respond also.
I do not understand why Musoma disrupted me the other time, and echoed back what I was saying, because essentially what I was talking about was the three principles of precaution, as provided in the Constitution, that is essence, proportion, and legality. He did not want that to come from me. Be that as it may, let me. There's a fictional character. Before I answer the questions, there is a fictional character in the Rockstar called I think Nico Bellic, who talks about war, and he mentions something about the young and stupid being used by the old and bitter, to cause destruction. I'll leave it at that. Someone asked me whether there is still hope.
Yes.
Let me tell you, Washira, I do not entirely disagree with demos or the Maandamanos. I have personally, orchestrated demonstrations, in my village before, and they were peaceful. So that tells you that I'm not entirely against demonstrations. I'm just against a few things. One, are destructive demonstrations. If demonstrations were entirely peaceful, nobody, not even the government, would object. So on that, I would say that maybe our democracy is not yet ripe, for demonstrations. Looking at where these demos are done mostly, Washira, you and I will agree that almost all these demonstrations normally occur in the areas within the informal settlements. Because these politicians have learned one thing about these areas, most of these people who live here have nothing to lose. And they have nothing to lose because previous and current governments have not been able to provide them with better livelihoods, like affordable housing and better housing, like we see the government is right now. And so the reason why all these demonstrations are always taken to those parts, talk about Kibra, Kamukunji, is because these people know that
yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I saw it from my screen. It's like my name is hanging, but it's okay. So I'll proceed. So
Yeah.
the reason why politicians are taking these demonstrations to those sides is because they know here people have nothing to lose, and that is why you see individuals in these places engaging with with their pangas and with stones, and what the police have to do is to black fire with the fire, which of course wouldn't want to see such situations, and such things happening. And the police are left with no other option. As to whether there is still hope, that would be an entire discussion. But I'll just give my feelings about this entire thing. The current government took over when already things were bad. I said that before. And what the government is trying to do is, to bring our economy back. And when that is being done, Washira, there of course has to be so much suffering. There has to be so much restructuring of how we get me.
Yeah, we can get you. Please wrap up, Kipto. Your point. What is your point?
Okay. So what I'm saying, Washira, is that there's still hope, because the government is barely 1 year to place. We are already demonstrating, and asking the government to lower the cost of living. Actually, within 1 year, the government that can lower the cost of living, that will improve the livelihoods of the people within that very short period of time. So I think the opposition should give the government time, to restructure itself, to put itself into the best position and deal with the economic situation in this country.
Okay.
About the Maandamano thing, for now, I think we are ripe for that.
Okay. Hold on there, Kipto. Thank you for that. I can see Brandon Mine saying, as Kipto says, the government supports the constitution. There is separation of power between the executive and judiciary, but we saw courts ruling to first stop the finance bill, put EPRA, adopted the tax. Okay, we have that coming from Brandon Miner. So, Wakili, you also had your set of questions and your reactions. Please go ahead and be brief.
Okay, thank you so much, Oshira. We have responded to everything Ketera has talked about, but because of time, I did not want to beg and respond to him.
Okay.
I'll go straight to a question that was posed to me. The citizens can see the essence of the demonstrations. This is the simple answer I can give about that. That from what has been provided to us, or what we gave to us as a constitution, what we voted in and subscribed to as the constitution, there are no elements of what should necessitate a demonstration. What the constitution and the law provide is the right to demonstrate. You can demonstrate about or anything. Must not necessarily be justifiable, and justified. You can demonstrate on anything. But now let me go back to the facts that Kete talks about.
Yeah.
The citizens are decrying of the state of economy. They are decrying of the increased prices of basic commodities. And this is the biggest cry they have. And well, at one time when my counter guy Kipto was talking, he mentioned about what we were demanding them versus what we were demanding right now. And I can remind him, and this is in open and public domain, that there are certain elements that were put on discussion table, on what we commonly call the bipartisan talks. And this was one, lower the cost of living, two, open the servers, and three, reconstitute IEBC when you have all parties on board. But the very first point that ever kept coming in their presence was lower the cost of living. Why would we continue having bipartisan talks when the first element is lowering the cost of living, and the next week you have a bill that is being bulldozed down the throats of Kenyans within the parliament? But You have conducted public participation. You have invited the private sector, the public sector. You've invited ordinary citizens. You've
Mm.
invited businessmen, and they have told you that this act is bad. Whatever
Mm.
you're proposing is bad. Whatever you're
Mm.
proposing is going to hurt the ordinary monanchi. Whatever you're
Mm.
proposing is going to lose. We're going to lose jobs out of it. But you
Mm.
still bulldoze it down the throats of citizens, and it's going to skyrocket the prices, the cost of living. Now,
Mm.
if at all our first demand was lower the cost of living, and we have another act in Parliament live that is telling us that we have increased the cost of living, then what is the need of us talking? The
Mm.
only way the citizen will be listened to is on the streets. And this will remind Keter that the very first article of the Constitution gives power, it says that power belongs to the people. It does
Yeah.
not matter what the people want to do with their power, that is their power. Whatever they want to
But
do with their power.
Wakili, we can. Benedict Joyce is asking, do you think the citizens really understands the essence of Maandamano?
Well, the people demonstrating are citizens. Are citizens demonstrating when they do not understand the essence of Mandamano?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's the only answer I can give to Benedict. The citizens are demonstrating. Would you go to streets if you do not know what you want on the streets?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but now we can see now, Kipto, Kipto you have something to say. Please wrap up. I want us to finish the show and then give back Wakili to give his final sentiment. Kipto.
All right, let me speak to that. Benedict asked a very critical question, and that is as to if the citizens really understand the essence of demonstration. In Thomas, what I do not think that the framers of the Constitution had the intention of people demonstrating and doing whatever they wish to do just because it is a right.
Wachira Kipto has the benefit of coming from a place where government and they enjoy government services. I really don't know why his network is the biggest problem. I can't even get him. But really, the people who are really demonstrating on the streets have the best of network, and that is why we are in this meeting all through. Keter, I want to get you clearly, to get all the points you are raising clearly, because you are advantaged more than myself.
Kipto, please check on your sound. Check on your sound, Kipto. There's a buzzing sound that is coming from your end, so we cannot get you quite clearly, Kipto.
Can you now get me?
Yeah, please try to get close to your microphone as possible.
Okay, fine. I hope you can now get me.
Yeah, go ahead, please. A bit brief. Time is not on our side now, Kipto.
Washira, no, when you are a young man and you want to get yourself something, Wi-Fi, like Wi-Fi in your own house, it's something that you have to set as a project and work on it for quite some time. So when Wakili tells me that he thinks that I should be enjoying more services from the government, like good network connectivity. The government.
Please, Kipto, come on. Let us stick to the topic of today.
I leave that to this. So, I was talking about.
And remember, Kipto, you are giving your final sentiments. I want us to wrap up the show.
Okay. So, I was speaking to a question that was asked by Benedict, if I'm not wrong. Shira, I do not think the people understand the essence of the protest. The framework of the Constitution might have been so clear, with their intentions, but then these people do not really understand, what these rights confers to them. Because what I'm seeing around is, jobless youth having fun and trying to fight with the police, show their prowess in stone throwing and pretending to be showing their dissatisfaction with the government. I'm not seeing any honest protests happening in this country, Washington. And,
Okay.
and I really pity those young men in the informal settlements who are being used by old and bitter politicians, as said by Nick.
Okay. Thank you, Kipto. Thank you, Kipto, for that. Wakili, please, as you give your final sentiments, I can see we have hard work leads to easy life, saying force is a necessity. People are crooked. Okay. And Mark Thyro is laughing to Wakili telling Kipto he needs, I don't know, some network and something. So, Wakili, please go ahead. Please give your final sentiments and tell us the way forward, especially what do you think is the way forward? Is there any other way these things can be done, Wakili?
Yes, there are many ways in which we can address issues affecting Kenyans, including having a framework on how to implement what Kenyans need. Kenyans gave this government the power, and let the government respect the will of the people, let the government respect the voices of the people. My friend Kipto, I've listened to you and I'm so happy that we had a platform to debate together. But you are suffering, you have more problems than myself, I believe. I want to urge you, Kipto, that let us not assume that this government is going to have, we are going to enjoy the goodness in which we were promised. This government has proven to have a very sweet tongue. What they say is not what actually is reflective of their words. I don't see any hope. The lies have become too much and unbearable. In fact, there's nothing that now comes out of them that we even believe. Even those lies, we've begun to doubt them on an instant. We used to believe them until the contrary happens. But right now, any word they speak, without them immediately, whether it is true or not. Kipto, you have more problems than myself, but we are on the streets voicing out on issues that will aid you. I want to welcome you on board, Kipto. Kuja kidogo onja tia gazeta moja so that you understand how harmful the police can be to normal and ordinary citizens expressing their rights, and also voice out your needs to the government. This is the only way you can fight the government so that you can also enjoy the way I'm enjoying. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wakili Musoma, for that. And Kipto, I see you have something to say. Please,
No. You cannot, Washina, if you allow Kipto to speak, you will also allow me to speak.
Okay. Much obliged. I'm going to end it at that. I can see Tharex Technology saying that when you check the econometrics are yet to be discussed, 3 months, you'll see what will happen. So we are going to be back here with these guys and extend this conversation and see what happens next. Does what you're saying make sense for Kenyans and all that? So I want to thank everybody who has watched us live, everybody who's going to watch us later, everybody who is commenting and sending in their sentiments. Thank you very much. I can see Dairy Edition with Hassan saying, okay, it's time we all agree something is amiss among us, the ruling government. We can agree some things are affecting us globally, but basic commodities for that, Mama Mboga, is it global? It's not about Raila. And then we hear from Tharex Technology saying that also remember that the KRA for the first time has collected 2.6 trillion, yet it's not yet a financial year. And then we have MAANDAMANO saying, to wrap up, I just believe in sovereignty of the people, and the protesters ought to protest when they deem fit, especially if the government is not delivering according to their expectations. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for those sentiments. Thank you very much. So, guys, remember, State of the Continent is always here every Wednesday. State of the Continent, we get to discuss political issues. And an African Corner, which happens on Sunday, where we discuss social issues in the continent. But for today, it has been a wonderful discussion. We're going to be back here with more and more, especially on MAANDAMANO, because I think it is going to be here for some time. And finally, I can see Tharex Technology saying Ruto will deliver just wait. Okay, we will wait and see. I know Kipto is very glad with that point. Now, to wrap up, thank you very much, everybody who has made it here live, and for those who will watch us later, thank you very much. Stay tuned for African Corner coming this Sunday. We have a very interesting conversation for you. My name is Mutadhi Washira Wanyaga, Mojiro Abare Akaligi, Dayo.